In the same vein of Black, White, and Blood, though, we also have Star Wars Boba Fett Black, White, and Red. I gotta say, another situation where I just kind of on a whim wanted to try it out. Really, really glad I did. I think I liked this comic as a whole probably better than the entirety of the Book of Boba Fett. And I'm not trying to throw shade, I'm just being honest. This actually felt in line with what we know of Boba Fett. You know, he's this bounty hunter. He always gets the prize, right? He always makes his mark. I really liked how they leaned into those characteristics and the things that we know about Boba Fett, but the person that he's after has kind of a complicated backstory. So you're kind of rooting for Boba Fett to get the bad guy, but at the same time, you're also kind of hoping that this other guy finds a resolution as well. And the way it ended, I was just really satisfied. You know, it didn't say to be continued or anything like that. It was a self-contained story that felt like an episode of The Mandalorian. I really, really liked it. I think this was one of my favorite Boba Fett stories or Star Wars stories in general that I've experienced in a while. So same thing, Black, White, and Red is the color scheme. And yeah, it just makes for a fun reading experience. So if you see this on the shelves, I definitely recommend. In the same vein as Star Wars, we have Star Wars Tales from the Nightlands issue number 2. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tales from the Nightlands is a non-canon story from Dark Horse. And the basic premise is that, you know, there's Force ghosts and all these things. Well, what if there was bad guys that could also manifest, you know, as Force beings? And, you know, it kind of explores some of those themes. This is just the second issue. The first issue, we dealt with Obi-Wan and Anakin, whereas in this one, we're dealing with Luke and Leia and Vader. And I gotta say, the illustrations in this really, really blew me away. I was really, really impressed with all these pages. There's like this psychedelic vibe throughout the entirety of the issue. And it kind of reminded me of like Absolute Martian Manhunter a little bit, where, you know, you're not sure what's real and what's not, which kind of pairs well with like the Force visions we've seen on the screen, you know, in various Star Wars shows and properties and whatever. So I don't know. I thought, you know, the concept is cool. We had a resolution from a problem that arose in the first issue. And I thought it was a really fun read, to be honest. I'm interested to see how they build this concept out further. And while it is a cool idea, I'm glad that it's not canon, if that makes sense. I don't know why. Sometimes I love Legends stories because sometimes what if is way more interesting than what actually happens or what's considered to be canon. So, side tangent. Anyways, that is Star Wars Tales from the Nightlands, issue number 2.